Hello and welcome to ETV Bharat. My name is Nisar Dharma. Today we have with us a very special guest, a human trafficking activist and the founder of Impact and Dialogue Foundation, who is now also a recipient of Ramoji Award of Excellence, Ms. Pallavi Ghosh. Welcome Pallavi and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Pallavi, I was just going through the field of work that you have. It is a very unique field that you have chosen, and at the same time it is something that is, a little fraught with dangers. So beginning your journey as a human trafficking activist, that too at the age of 12, I mean, how did you take this decision?
So it's not like I decided to be an activist at the age of 12. I saw something, I saw an incident, and that kind of, you can say that's sow a seed inside me. So after that, multiple incidents happened, one after another. It was a missing child who went missing from somewhere in West Bengal, and the father was searching for this child, and he kept coming to me all the time. I am basically a Bengali, but I am from Assam. So he was continuously coming to me and telling me and asking me where his child was. So honestly speaking, that did not bother me. My only query was like, a girl goes missing from a village which has just one entry and exit, and how is it that nobody knows about it? So from 12 till the age of 19, multiple incidents happened one after another, and those were incidents that happened organically, nothing was planned. And finally I got to know on my first year of graduation that one of the reasons of missing children is trafficking, and that's when I decided that I want to work in trafficking. And then after that, one after another incidents happened. I joined an organization, I started working in trafficking. So yeah, so that's how it is.
So you were primarily based in Bengal, or you moved and started working in other states as well?
So I was born in Assam. I did my studies in Delhi, but I got introduced to this whole thing of trafficking in Haryana and Rajasthan. Okay. And then I started working. So I was working in destination. So in trafficking there is source, transit and destination. So I started working in Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan and all. But finally I figured it out as a young activist that everyone who was working in trafficking were working only in destinations.
Okay.
So there is no point. So if you want to end the crime, then you have to go to the source from where it originates. So that's when I decided that, I should go to the source. So that's how I started working in West Bengal, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh. The first girl I rescued was from Guntur, by the way, the first girl I rescued. So, and then that's how I went to Northeast.
Yeah, talking about rescuing, survivors, or we won't call them victims, you have around 10,000 survivors whom you have rescued and impacted 75,000 women and girls. It is a very strong and emotionally strong atmosphere it would be. So how do you keep up with it, and how do you maintain the temper and ensure that you keep on going and doing this work?
To be very honest, you have to work with police. So I get an information and then I have to go to the local police station, I have to convince them, and then with them only I can go for rescue, because we are not authorized, because we are not law enforcement. So there are times I remember that, it's mentally very traumatizing and exhausting. But like I remember my first rescue, the girl I had rescued. So I remember her mother traveling like 10 hours with a watermelon, because she did not have anything to give me. And then after her deposition in front of the court, she told me something. She was elder to me, I was younger to her, but the statement that she told has stayed with me till now. She told in front of the magistrate, my mother gave me birth, but she is the mother who saved me. So I think, I don't know, like maybe because at a very early age I saw all this. So this and incidents like this has happened. There are people, those who don't have anything, but they travel all the way getting maybe a jaggery for me, or maybe there is this girl who sends me cards in New Year with the flowers from a garden. So I think all these things, money somewhere can't buy. And maybe because I was exposed to this at a very young age, so that is the reason that emotional, sentimental thing always has been stayed. So that's how I keep it up. So that is how I kind of push myself, you can say.
The human connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was also going through the work that you have. You talk about 3 Ps: prevention, protection, and prosecution, and they seem to be central to your mission. Your work revolves around them. So which of these, in your experience, it's the toughest one to achieve, and why?
The toughest is prosecution, because you can say like thousands I have rescued, but there has been only 7 convictions. The problem is that starting, everybody thinks that rescue is easy, but the main struggle starts post-rescue. What happens, I'll tell you about this girl only I had rescued from Guntur. So it was such a strong case and we were convinced that there will be conviction. But what happened, because of Indian judiciary, unfortunately, the case continued for 10 years and after a point of time, the victims turned hostile. So everybody was like, why the victims turned hostile? Now tell me something, some crime happened with me 10 years back. Every year I have been called to the court and I have been asked the same thing. So I am reliving the trauma again and again and again. At some point they are like, whatever happened, happened. I want to let go of it. So that's the problem. And then this is one of the main reasons, prosecution is tough. But if you talk about prevention, prevention is equally tough because I work in Northeast now. So when you don't have 2 square meals a day, a lot of people tell me कि they come by their own choice. खुद ही जाते हैं काम करने के लिए, they go by themselves. It's very easy to say for somebody who's staying in Bangalore, Delhi or Hyderabad because you don't have to worry about your second meal. The place where I work, you will not believe people literally boil water, people literally boil leaves and the water they get from there, with that they eat rice. So when there is so much, and this is, I am talking to you about 20th century, our country. When there is so much of poverty, the moment you say that come, let's go to Bangalore or Delhi, you will have a better life, people will go. And that's how this trafficking thing has started, increasing so much.
Exploiting the factors that
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand it might be difficult for you to recall or it would be a difficult experience. Could you, talk to us about one of the rescue operations or a survivor story that stayed with you or that is sort of a motivation for you always whenever you feel like, I should take a step back or, it's too dangerous or something like that?
There are hundreds of stories, but this particular story, because this is the youngest child I had rescued, it was a 4-month-old baby. And this was a case of 2013, I remember. I went as a decoy with crime branch. So this child was to be sold in Middle East. And of course, my appearance doesn't look like, someone from the Middle East. So I went as the maid servant of the person who's going. And we had like 10 lakh counterfeit currencies. And I went as a decoy and I rescued the child. It was a 4-month child. So there was a big trafficking racket going in the NCR, Delhi NCR. And there was this compounder who had, told everybody that he's a doctor. He and the midwife as nurse, they were running this business. That child stayed with me for 2 days. And then this was 2013. And till now, I'm going for witness in this case. Till now, the child is now 12 years old. A family has adopted her. Sad part is that the child's mother had trafficked her. And everybody was against the mother, asking that why the mother trafficked her. But when I heard the story of the mother, in one way I also realized that she was also a victim of the system because the father used to, sexually exploit the mother every day. So what the mother decided, this was the 3rd child that the mother was selling. So the mother told that she was selling this child because she did not want to see what will happen to the child. So this was her way of not knowing. So this case still I am going. So this case remained with me and this has actually motivated me a lot because I have seen a child from 4 months to now, 12, 13 years. So this is something that has stayed with me. And then there are other survivors also. There are multiple other stories also that has remained with me. There is another woman I had rescued from who was 56-year-old woman. She was rescued from Haryana. It was such a sad story because she was going to be married to a young man who was younger than her son because she looked short and that guy was intellectually disabled. The entire village had bought her by selling a cow and a land. And I rescued that woman. She was a 56-year-old lady, but she looked like, people thought that. So these 2 cases I can recollect now. There are hundreds of stories like this.
In the Delhi NCR, was the family also from Delhi NCR?
Yeah.
They were also from
They are also from Delhi NCR. The case is still in investigation, but we are not able to, the conviction has not yet happened because someone or the other is missing. The witness doesn't come. And unfortunately, our Indian judiciary is always dependent on witnesses. So that's the thing.
We understand that trafficking is not something new, it has been happening several decades ago. We could say it happened in the past century as well. But now with the age of internet and technology, do you think it has impacted trafficking in what ways?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You will not believe it. Earlier, it was so easy for us to find the traffickers. Now it is impossible. It has kind of become impossible because with Aadhaar card, with one Aadhaar card, you can get 8 to 10 SIM cards. Like if you have one ID card, you can get, and after making one call, they just, what you call, they break the SIM and they throw away. That's the reason I tell everybody that, whenever you go to photostat your Aadhaar cards or your passports, please make sure wherever you are giving your document, trash it. I'll just tell you a recent incident. Like a couple of months back, what happened? There were 4 engineering students. They had actually found somebody on the Uttarakhand road. A girl had made a call. And under the common intention, these 4 guys were nabbed. Because when we were tallying the calls, their phone number had come. So you don't know who gets trapped when. So with internet, it has become more risky, and also with dark web. Because dark web you can, and then with satellite system, like for example, maybe you are in Hyderabad, but you are showing that you are somewhere in Afghanistan, or maybe you are somewhere in Middle East. And this with social media apps. I'll just tell you an incident, what happened. There was this, like 2 years back, 2024 January, I get a call from my very good friend in US that her friend's sister's daughter was missing from somewhere in East India. I cannot disclose the details of the case. And the child's parents were civil servants. The child went missing. So they called me. Now I am not some CID officer or some CBI. I just told them start scouting her social media. They started scouting her social media. They were not able to find anything. But after doing a lot of hunting, because there was a lot of pressure from the government, civil service servant, they found that the girl was chatting with somebody in Discord. Discord is an app like Slack and all. And then we have never done a rescue like this. We literally were, opening people's faces from blankets, and then we rescued the girl. After the girl was rescued, when she was asked like, what is the thing that you are missing? Because generally trafficking mein to poverty. She told something which remained with me. She was like, my parents are very rich, but my parents don't give me time. They've given me smartwatch, they've given me tablets and everything. They know they don't have time for me. They're so busy with their office and all. And then we had to tell the father that, do you spend time with him? The father was like, yeah, I spend time with her. I drop her to school. So I think parents think that, putting their children in IB schools and giving everything, that is the reason now trafficking has increased to the, elite society also. So pehle aisa tha ki like, trafficking is only with people who are poor. But now people from the, what you call, the middle class society, from the elite, they are also into trafficking. Even if they are not in trafficking, they are into this cyber entire thing. They are into, recently somebody told me that she was allowing her child play with all these games. And then suddenly somebody told her that the child's photo was in a porn channel. And then they figured it out, the child was playing with all those phones, and with that camera, the child's photo was clicked. So with internet, it has become much more, and there is no limit. You can't control because all your data is out. So this is a big problem, and there is no way to, control this. How do you control it?
Yeah, it's quite scary. Now, if we come back to the Impact and Dialogue Foundation now, since it's so fluid, you have to understand the situation, and then there is internet, and there are so many factors involved. How do you make sure that the training part, in Impact and Dialogue Foundation, how do you provide skill training and counseling? And how does that transform, when you talk to witnesses or you talk to the survivors? How does your training impact it, the overall work?
So what we do is that I have realized one thing, that prevention is better than cure. So what we do, so there are 3 safe spaces that we have, one in Meghalaya, one in Assam, and one in Bengal. What we do, we train the girls. So we have three categories of girls. One is girls, those who don't want to do the conventional education. So we give them a 1 year of training, and then we send them back to the village where they can, like, it's like a more of a ripple effect thing. Like, I am trafficked, now this is my experience, now my village will know that no more girls get trafficked. This is one category of girls. Second category of girls is like, we have memorandum of understanding with different organizations who teach the girls, like maybe they want to do something like this certification course. And third is the category of girls who want to do conventional education, because everybody says like sabko padhao, but honestly speaking, not everybody wants to study. So these are the 3 categories, and what we do, we don't go to the village. Like our objective, so that is the primary reason we don't want to open a branch of the organization everywhere. I was very clear since the beginning. Honestly speaking, I did not even want to open an organization because I was like, there are so many NGOs, why to open an organization? The reason to open the NGO was during Corona, I had got cases of children who were Corona positive and declared dead. On investigation, we found out that there was a huge organ trafficking racket that was going on. So that's the reason the organization was started. But then we were like, ki, NGO will come, rescue you and go. No, it should not be like that. The community should be, empowered enough. So that's the reason our focus is on empowering the community, and it has helped us a lot because when the community is empowered, when they know that they are accountable for their children, then it can go a long way in prevention. So that's how we are kind of taking a village. Like we recently had a graduation ceremony in one of the village in Lanka, which is in Northeast India, Hojai district. What we do is that we take one Didi, we train that Didi, under the Didi we keep 10 other girls, tell the girls, teach the girls, and then they go to 10 other. So that's the approach, and that has really helped. So this is how we are trying to, train the girls, mobilize the girl, tell them. So
Has local panchayats also been a part?
local
in
panchayats, yes, because we have created this thing known as village response committees. We won't call it village vigilance committees because we don't want to be stalking anybody, where you should know that if your child has gone to Hyderabad, is the child calling you? Or how much of money is the child getting? Is the child being exploited? So you have to make that village responsible. NGO will come, NGO will make police, that's not like that. You have to make, and that will happen when you keep making them believe that they are a part of the ecosystem. What happens with NGOs mostly, NGOs go, do the work, come back. We do a regular mapping. Like today we are doing this work, after 3 months what's happening? Did it impact? How many cases were registered in the police station? How many child marriages are stopped? How many people have actually gone and questioned? And that is the reason we have not been able to impact that much because it's to and fro. So that's how we try to manage, and it has really helped.
Aren't you worried about your personal safety? I mean,
that's one of the reasons I don't stay in Delhi anymore. Like I was just telling the team that it is thanks to ETV. It is because of ETV only I came. Generally, I've stopped giving interviews. The reason is that one, I don't go for any interviews. I had gone for, there was a rescue that I did in Noida, and I went for a podcast to give awareness, information. And that podcast went viral, like 10 crore people saw it. And then that entire informatory podcast was made as a sensational reels, okay. So, and I was hounded for a year. Like literally, I can't go anywhere. Flight people are, because my voice is also not like a typical woman's voice. So flight mein people are identifying me, cannot place me identifying me. So I am worried about my safety, definitely, but then I follow certain protocols, and I try to keep my life as
discreet
as possible. So
yeah, I think that should be the way to go. Now, this moment that you are here and you have been awarded with Ramoji Award of Excellence, what does it mean to you and for your work?
To be very honest, I was not expecting the award, first of all. ETV...
How did you get to know about it?
So the thing is that ETV has been following my work for a long time. I think ETV, and not because I'm sitting here, I would not flatter, I don't flatter anybody, but ETV has genuinely covered my work in the most honest way.
Yeah, I remember editing one of the stories.
Yeah, most honest way, because there are so many people who have interviewed me. Either it's an exaggeration or it is too much of something which I don't even know. So then when I got this message, initially I was like, there was this message that there's a good news for you. I thought that maybe another story will be. I was in Northeast, I remember. And then next morning I was given calls from everywhere, Guwahati, everyone was calling me. And then when they said that they will give me the award, I was like, oh, I did not know how to, like on what context. And then they said that they saw the award and everything. I think more than the award, it's like, it is to understand, because my field is something, people don't want to talk about. I'm being very honest. In Bangalore, nobody wants to talk about. I sit with all the investors. They are like, we love your work, but please don't tell us. We get triggered. I'm talking to about people who are investors. They will be like, please don't tell us. It's too triggering. ऐसा भी होता है. I still remember I was sitting with a very big investor and he was telling me कि ऐसा भी होता है. So I took him to Bombay with me, and there was this place known as Kurla, where he was telling me कि child labor नहीं होता. There's no child labor, don't worry. So I made him go with me to this place where there was this small boy who was stitching shirt ke buttons, and that boy was getting 5 rupees. 5 rupees, I think for 4 buttons he was getting 20 rupees. And this man was standing with me, and this man was asking that boy, okay, milta hai kya itna? And that boy was from Bihar. That boy was like, 20 rupees hi milta hai. And then that man looked at me. So the problem is that people think that, and now we don't even talk about trafficking, we are talking about modern slavery out here. People think that, you know, if I maintain this, you know, ostrich ka approach, nahi, matlab we will not be able to see it, but it's still happening.
Yes.
It's happening in Bangalore, it's happening in Hyderabad. I still remember going to this village where I see girls plucking this chili, red chili, and getting 50 rupees for plucking chilies, 500 red chilies. So nobody talks about it because we are not bothered. So I think more than getting the word, it's also important to understand that people should know about this issue. So that is what is the most important thing I feel. So for that reason, I'm really grateful.
Finally, what would be your message to the young Indians? I know the field is something that, as you said, people want to stay away from it, even though it is happening in the society. But there are people like yourself, and there would be more who would want to work in this field. So what would be your message? How do they start, or where do they start?
I think the first thing is that please be very sure that you want to work in this, because many people started with me, but they left because it's quite triggering, one. Second is that initially my extended family members and everybody was really angry with me. Like, oh, such a bright student, what nonsense she is doing, I still remember. But 10 years down the line, it has 180-degree angle changed. Now everybody is like, you know, she was our student, she is my relative. So I think if you really want to work in this sector, you have to understand there is no shortcut to success. There is no shortcut. You have to be consistent, determined, and there is this whole thing of sincerity and dedication important. I was just telling Lucky Moni, who accompanied me, that, you know, aapka niyat acha hai na. If your intent is good, universe will conspire. Believe me, when I started 5 years back, I still remember I faced so much of issues. Even now I'm facing. I constantly have issues with funding and support because nobody wants to support survivors because they're red light area se rescue hai, brothel se rescue hai. But somewhere from something happens and I get the support. So I think if your intent is good, the universe will conspire. So I think that is very important. Whatever you do, you should know that are your intentions good? So I think that's important. If your intentions are good, then somebody from somewhere will definitely help you. I think that's very important.
We wish you all the best for your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining with us, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.